VICI Gaming's turn to ban. Newbee's turn to pick. VICI Gaming's
now
turn
the
to
most
pick.
important bans and picks of their life, and already in the grand finals, Newbee.
7-0 for that hero on Newbee. They haven't lost a single match in the whole competition.
The mind game begins.
Yeah, and take it away from VICI Gaming.
One thing that's actually awesome, like to me, is the Enchantress ban. We discussed it before.
Yeah.
With Vici's like game style, the junglers will be really important. We haven't seen an Enchantress ban the whole tournament, but now it comes. So that means that both teams are really ready for each other.
And we get the Shadow Shaman and the Air Shaker again. No surprises here. These teams are picking whatever actually fit their playstyle and they've been picking so far. A little bit of information which we haven't talked about. Newbee and VICI Gaming, they face each other 20 times. The score favors VICI Gaming 12-8, but the last 9 were 6-3 to Newbee. So VICI Gaming had the early advantage in terms of the previous duels. Newbee seems to have the numbers recently.
I think I probably would have gone for the Shadow Shaman over Nature's Prophet. The thing is, if they lose with the first pick Nature's Prophet, they're going to have to ban it out. Or probably for like game 2
or take it themselves.
Or take it themselves again, but typically teams don't do that.
You can already see the fighting power from Newbee. I mean, they have a global presence with A Ultimate plus Nature's Prophet. This sets up perfectly for a Spectre pick, by the way, if they want to get that. We've seen how play Spectre against EG.
And also Void. We've actually seen this kind of combo with DK a little bit. You know, just being able to snipe someone off very quickly can shut down someone's push, you know, even when you're just level 6.
Those are heroes that are really good at defending towers. When you're going to have a 5-man lineup showing under a tower, having the Nature's Prophet Ultimate plus the AA Blast is just insanely good to defend. So
I wouldn't be surprised if Newbee decides to go for something they picked already, which is the Spectre as a later pick, because then again they can do that on the offlane like they did before, and also they have immense global potential, and that's the thing against pushing lineups, that global might work, because pushing is all about, okay, everyone is on the lane, suddenly you have 5 people pushing your towers, you either have to rotate, or if you can apply pressure globally, you can deter the push or just start the fight on your own terms. And bringing all that might be a strat that Newbee can say, okay, this is the way we stop the global push.
And the thing when you push is like, one thing about push, what makes pushing that good is that you don't let your opponent farm, because they have to, as you said, to TP, etc. Nature's Prophet and A, they don't have to TP. They can just keep on farming and just land their spells and open whenever they're gonna crush the fight. So a really good approach, like so far so good for Newbee.
Yeah, at the same time, they might not want to pick Spectre because VG can end a game in 15 minutes, and at that point, he might not even have his drums completed, or she rather, and they don't have that much wave clear right now, which is always a concern facing VG.
Yeah, that's a good point. I do think that Spectre is actually a good fighter in a sense. I mean, obviously we always see the late game rage in Spectre, but a Spectre with early drums and phase boots, he hits really hard. And
yeah, you max Desolate,
yeah,
and he suddenly in the team fight you can do immense amount of damage.
He's a really good fighter, even early on.
Yeah. I'm also a fan of the Orb of Venom there, because you can, essentially the radius of Desolate seems bigger than it is, but when you're in a team fight you just move a little bit away from your allies and you're taking a lot of damage. But we do see the Ember Spirit ban for VICI Gaming, I mean for Newbee, so VICI Gaming is not going to get that hero. If I'm VICI Gaming, I'm going to say okay to that. I don't care that much, I guess.
Ember counters Prophet in many ways. He can solo kill Prophet anytime. Yeah. Prophet is split pushing. And also, we've seen only, I think, Battle Fury's Ember. I don't think we've seen okay, Sing went for Viscari, but besides that, it's mainly the Battle Fury build Ember, and that's really good versus Prophet when he pushes the summons, so...
We've been talking about how important positioning is in the early game for both teams if you want to push. A hero like both Wraith King and Vengeful Spirit, both of those supports are supports that Newbee actually went for in combination with the Ancient Declaration before. Which one of those two would you say is most likely, or neither maybe?
It's difficult to call them right now. I think Vengeful would work really well with Newbee. It's really good with AA, and just the auras would work, but I think it's a bit early for them to get that. They might want to get something against the Brewmaster, because they really have nothing to fight that Brewmaster right now. It's an awesome pick for VICI Gaming.
Well, Doom is still in.
Doom is still in, Skyras is still in, yeah.
I mean, if it was on the other side and VICI Gaming
5
were
seconds
playing
remaining.
the Nature's Prophet, I'd expect an Orchid coming out because that's how Sylar ended up playing that. But because the newbie had the
Reserve
Nature's
time.
Prophet, you know, you normally have seen Nature's Prophet kind of get into the Necro book, and you want that silence versus Brewmaster. So VICI Gaming are probably going to change some of the ideas that newbie have, and we'll see what they're going to pick up
So
to handle the brew.
whenever I see VICI Gaming going for these kind of lineups with you have a lot of tankiness out in the front, they bring the Brewmaster, they bring the Death Prophet, they create this wall of heroes that can tank pretty much everything and just push your towers. I kind of wish the Storm Spirit could come back, because he's one of those heroes that can jump through that line and get to the weak support. The Shaker will want to be separated for the team, and that might be his doom. If you can jump on the Shaker and remove him from the equation, suddenly they don't have that backup plan if things go wrong. The same with the Rasta. If you can stop him, because before he pops the wards, you want a team fight.
At the same time, Storm Spirit is just so vulnerable to early rotations, which can be punished by FY and Fenrir, and his team can't necessarily follow up. Maybe with Global Ultimates like AA and H Prophet, but you can pretty much dump any hero into that mix.
Well, if you get a Blink on Lion, he can also jump to the back and perhaps make something happen. But it's a Lion pickup. A little bit unexpected, but a lot of disable coming with that hero, of course.
This is the answer they needed to the Brewmaster, but it's gonna come to the timings. We've seen MMY yesterday, awesome timing on the Hex. Let's hope for Newbie that Sensheng or Banana, I don't know who's gonna grab that Lion, will be able to actually Hex the Brewmaster as fast as MMY will have.
I'd be really scared of a Pugna pick if I were Newbie. They have 3 in heroes. Lion's a pretty
5
heavy caster, and
seconds
VICI has like a really strong early push too.
Oh yeah, the Pugna pick is actually awesome right now
Reserve
for
time.
VICI Gaming.
We haven't seen that come out for many of the teams in the main event, but it was played in the group stages.
It was played a lot. It was banned all the time in second phase versus those teams. So, especially versus VICI Gaming actually.
Well, we'll see if they take it. And how would you respond if you were Newbie if they ended up getting that? Would you just be like, oh dear? Or is it?
It's tough, because if it's a Pugna, then it's most likely a safe lane Pugna. Or it could be. The things that Newbie supports, they're good at laning.
10 seconds
I mean,
remaining.
Line is less good at laning than AA is, but they're not really good at roaming
5
early on. I don't think
seconds
Newbie's going to look for early kills. They will wait the right timings.
Oh, it's the arrow to get Clockwork. Worked twice yesterday, why not try it again?
So the reasoning behind the Clockwork is like the Brewmaster can't jump first because he exposed himself to death against the Lion, against the burst damage generally that Newbie has. So Clockwork would be opening the fight. If he can on Lion, that's the best target obviously. So Brewmaster can get his split off no matter what happens. I really like the double initiation from VICI Gaming. They're going to be looking for
10
fights.
seconds
I think almost it's a necessity these days in these high skill
5
games
seconds
to actually have
remaining.
2 people that are able to initiate, because one you can play around so easily. So VICI
Reserve
Gaming are
time.
going to pick up the Clockwork and the Brewmaster, and we've had a lot of success with people that have 2 good initiations, and you never know, later on in the game that Shadow Shaman and Earthshaker also benefit from blinks, but that would have to be a pretty long game for maybe that to happen.
Yeah, well,
Sorry, go ahead.
I think they can really punish Nature's Prophet pick with the clock. I think Sylar had like 11 deaths in one game, and I think that's really one of the keys to beating Nature's Prophet.
oh, I need some Newbie life stealer. And this works really well. I mean, when you have heroes like Clockwork, Brewmaster, Earthshaker, if you get the jump on them, and you can pop the Rage, and Brewmaster, for example, doesn't have his ultimate. These are strength heroes with quite a lot of HP, but not much armor.
10
And they can
seconds
just like putting yourself on top of the Clockwork, stops the Clockwork from initiating.
5 seconds
3-0 with
remaining.
this hero for Newbie. They really play well.
You're immune to cogs when you rage right
Yes,
now. That was
you
the
are.
change. So
Yeah, they picked Lifestealer versus EG, like versus Naga, Sand King, very evasive heroes, and it wasn't really the best pick. But here, Lifestealer is actually awesome because Shadow Shaman, Shaker, and Clockwork, they have nothing versus the next. They have the hook shot, but that's not even gonna work. Like they really have nothing versus the next. It's gonna
But
be
they don't
really
have
fair.
any way to get a Lifestealer into the fight. They just
Exactly.
ban out the puck. Lion, maybe
Well,
will get a
Nature's
blink.
Prophet prompt.
Yeah, but they really need something else. I agree.
Yeah, they
I
need
would agree with
something
Merlini. They need a co-op. They need something to
10
actually get
seconds
the
remaining.
Lifestealer in the fights. That's a really good point because the first team that initiates is most
5
likely gonna win the fight
seconds
here.
remaining.
Yeah, if you just walk out, I mean, they'll just drop Shadow Shaman. They'll just drop
Oh, it's a
Magic Roll.
Sylar laundry. Nice goal,
So
James.
James called it.
always a potential chance of it coming back, certainly. Sylar, one of the best lone druid players. as you heard, his farm is out of control. How it was also mentioned that he farms better, maybe one of the best. And
The classic Nex Laundry, they sort of counter each other's. Laundry can root the Nex, but on the other hand, like Nex just destroys the bear. So it's actually it was a classic TI3 matchup. Yeah, that's
Wow, we don't see any straight up super aggressive pushing lineups out of either of these teams. They both can do some push, especially Vit, but I don't think we're gonna see a 15-minute game today.
no, most likely not.
whose lineup do you prefer?
I like VICI's. It has just a stronger push. Maybe just don't have the AoE clear to deal with it.
I like Newbee. I think they can move around the map and just the global potential is too strong.
I think a lot of it is on the Lifestealer and the Alchemist, how and move, their combo being able to get the initiation. But we'll find out. So let's send it over to the commentators who are going to introduce the first match of the grand finals. Over to Toby and Lumi.
Thank you very much. It is wonderful to be here for a TI4 Grand Final here in Kia Arena, Seattle. I'm Toby One and Lumi. We'll be taking you through the entire best of 5 series for this Grand Final. Lumi, I'm looking forward to some amazing games.
Yeah, game one, I expected a lot of push like the analyst says, but it looks like we're going to see a much more balance of the game. We're going to see some push, we're going to see a ton of team fights. We might even go to a 50-minute late game, so I think we have it all, and that's a great game one, right? You want to see it all, and I think this is going to be it. Yeah. Looks like nobody's do any level 1 smoke. The only aggressive move is ROTK. Looks like he's straight up TP to the bottom. This is going to be a very expensive ward, but he's going to get one down without the enemy team having any vision.
This I think is really important for it. I was actually looking at the Lone Druid pickup as the last one and thinking, okay, you look at the lineup from Newbee now. They could run easily an aggro trial lane with a Life Steal in the front lines, Ancient Apparition as well as Lion right behind him. They could cause a lot of havoc up on that top lane. So the Bear becomes a bit of a filter up on that top lane, then combining it up with FY as well as Fenrir's control power. They should be able to survive that top lane. If you had any other hero which has to come to the front lines to farm or be involved, you'd be finding yourselves in a really, really risky position where you could give away first blood. So they basically have the top lane as far as like balance goes, as long as they don't get caught out of position. They look towards the bottom lane. You get this nice, really aggressive ward. It blocks the pull point, so there's no secondary option if the top lane goes bad for Newbee, unless they come down here with sentry wards. But more importantly, it keeps an eye out for what Xiaowe's got planned with his little treants as well. So ROTK or Super. It actually looks like they're switching around their, they're actually just handing over some sentry wards. But it will be ROTK on the off lane, trying to get a good start, and Super will be there in the middle lane.
The battle
Toby, sounds like you
begins.
like VICI's lanes, elite. Or
I'm loving VICI's lanes. I really think the Lone Druid pickup as the last one was a really smart idea. The only thing that could bite him in the butt is when the Life Stealer gets really, really big. As Mad was saying, the Bear is just going to get devoured by that Life Stealer. They cannot let that Life Stealer have room. They got to look at early Maelstrom, Basher on that Bear, and really get up in the face there of Newbee.
Yeah, I think farming on the top lane is going to be quite difficult for VICI Gaming. With that said, though, Sylar is working with essentially 2 heroes, so his last hit damage is very high. Should he get out of position, the Earthshaker figure is going to bail him out. So let's see who's going to actually get the first kill here. I imagine it's going to go towards the side of Newbee, but how defensive can VICI get?
Man, they're going to be so defensive. The problem is they've got no camps to pull. They need to get rid of these sentry wards, but to do that, they have to basically contest up against Sunshine as well as Banana, and that's not going to be an easy thing. FY, surprisingly for his first ability, he goes in for the shock, so he's just going to try and push out of the lane, and the fissure spam as well. I get a feeling they're burning through a lot of clarities just to try and get these Newbee supports to burn through consumables, because what they really bring towards this top lane, everyone's got a set of tangos and there's a salve there, but that's basically all she wrote. So if you get these guys low enough, then it's going to be really risky for Newbee to try and dive underneath, be it a tier 1 tower or go deeper inside the VICI Gaming jungle.
What's worth, they're actually farming quite OP in the top lane. Sylar is getting up to the creeps, and that's kind of what you're looking for. The trap from the fissure not going to be there. Yeah, they're just completely throwing out nukes left and right and trying to out-harass them. There is a smoke of deceit for VICI Gaming support, and with the Earthshaker, you always have a shot to actually go gank mid. And I think the key thing right now is they finally found that sentry. They will be able to deward it. They will be able to pull at minute 2, and that should help VICI's defensive trialing a little bit better.
Another lane we should probably mark is middle lane. Super already cracking his 10 CS and finally has his bottle coming out because he bought the Stout Shield. It took a little bit longer than it took for Moo, who's playing there as the Alchemist. Oh, hello top lane. That's a real bad position right now for Banana. Gets it on the Sylar. He's going to cut his way out. There's no Tango. How's going to help him out? He's locked in the corner. First blood. Goes away with VICI Gaming, but not over yet. FY still in the tree line. Profit. He's just going to come into this fight. Zhao Wei wants to turn the tide of this fight. Fenrir now on the run. Chilling touch storm cooldown. Cold Feet is available now, but we will see Sylar and Fenrir back up. So it's a 1-1 trade, but Zhao Wei had TP in and then uses a scroll to get back straight to bottom lane. They don't want to miss any CS down here.
Very surprised that Zhao Wei actually TP in without having access to Sprout. So he essentially teleported in and added 2 or 3 right clicks. Got the kill though, got the experience. That's the key. He's now going back to the bottom lane.
I'm not seeing it as a huge win, especially when this is happening on bottom lane. Smoke movement is going to be perfect, and this is going to set up now. Alchemist inside the middle lane, Zhao Wei locked inside the cogs with the shackles and the shock and the battery assault rocket. It's actually not even battery assault, it was just plain rocket. They get themselves the kill. And the Alchemist, in the meantime, he's actually soloed up by a DD Brewmaster in the mid lane. So VICI Gaming are now sitting at a 3-1 advantage 3 minutes in.
Very, very good movement coming out from VICI early game, especially that gank on the bottom lane. Not only did they get the kill, you gotta keep in mind that FY is playing a hero that really needs to reach level 6. So getting any kills like that, especially when you only like a 2v1 situation, the experience share is very going in the favor of VICI Gaming. And let's see if they continue this aggressive movement. FY, he's gonna find Shang. He does have the boots advantage, but ROTK is very far away. Don't think they're really gonna get the kill. I say that though, there is no boots on Shang. He can keep chasing this. The right click of Shadow Shaman.
He needs 2 more attacks at least to get Sunshine down, but he can't reach him. And there's not enough mana for a shock. Not at this point, but you're realizing just how powerful that rocket can be also early on. RTK actually favoring the rocket over the battery assault, even though if he does manage to catch Zhao Wei inside a cogs, high-level battery assault will be an instant kill on that Prophet.
Yeah, what Newbee is looking for right now is to stabilize the lane. The first step is having how to finish that phase boots. Once you have the phase boot finish, you're essentially immune. Mid lane, it's going to be a lot of trade-off here and there. Looks like 2 heroes running to the rune at top. Nobody finds it. Super comes in and clap. Looks like he's going to threaten for the kill. He's going to get a crit stack for the split. That's going to be a kill if the dragon doesn't deny it. The dragons are just sitting there and they're not denying. The dragons are too slow.
That last little walkover, the dragons most of the last moment. Now up on top lane, Fissure on Hal, but there's rotation support coming over from the Lion. And Hal looking at his own tier 1 tower is going to be okay.
Meanwhile, bottom lane, ROTK invis up, and there's going to be support coming in from FY.
Right next to him.
And here comes FY. He's going to do a ton of damage with that Ender Shock. Where's the Shackle? He's not using it. There you go. Finally Shackle. ROTK will pick up the kill. And the important experience and levels are coming in. ROTK hitting level 6, so he can start rotating around, and that's going to free up the lane for FY to actually sit here and get more experience.
Man, this movement from VICI Gaming is brilliant, and Super, like, knowing how far he can push it up against Moo, realizing an Alchemist is literally acid spray and a concoction. He's got nothing else to really try and stop a Brewmaster, and when Brewmaster splits, there is actually nothing that stops him. You have to tank it all up, and he's not level 6 yet, so there's no Chemical Rage to try and protect this Alchemist. He's very, very weak at this stage of the game.
This gank has to work. The one big difference between the two supports of both teams that Banana and Shanshan, they play much more defensive than FY and Fenrir. So you see that FY is, essentially ganking multiple lanes multiple times, whereas Newbee supports are kind of hanging out on the top lane, and that's really just a different playstyle of the two teams' supports. But that really is making a big deal. Obviously, we see ROTK is doing such a good job on the bottom lane, now almost hitting level 7. I wonder when he's actually going to make his first rotation in gank.
Well, I got a feeling he'll TP top in just a couple of moments' time, because Sylar, well, he actually just resummoned his best. This would be a big kill if they can claim it, but the Vortex goes down, which means Sylar knows the Sunshine and Banana are hanging inside the tree line, while in middle lane, Moo, he's actually popped off his Chemical Rage right now, but FY, the Fissure, he needs to get in range of the Shackles, and here it comes FY, he's still up there, now Moo, throws out the stun, double stun with a rocket from ROTK, comes all the way from the bottom lane to get the kill, super diving in deep, there is no split, 20 seconds on cooldown for Sunshine, held on the Shackles as well, Totem Stomp, there's enough with the clap for Super. Both inside the Sprout, taking a large amount of damage from the tier 1 tower, but he will back up to his side of the river, and not only that, he's going to pick up the illusion rune on the
top lane though, Sylar in a lot of trouble. He's trying to run away really quickly. There's on how one more hit, the Wrath of Nature is going to come through and get the kill. And again, any kill going to the support on Newbee side is going to be huge as well. If you look at their item progression, there is none. Banana's sitting at 500 gold, so he's going to get the boots. And looks like Shanshan has no boots. This is a problem. When you're trying to assist and teleport to the safe lanes and the mid lanes to help your other players, having that mobility and having the mana to TP in is huge. And right now, these supports are very under-leveled, they're very under-farmed, and it's hard to make a recovery in the early game when your supports can't make those plays.
Super, he's not going to go again. He does have split available, and he's watching Moo here in the middle lane, but needs more damage, especially going up against a Chemical Rage Alchemist, not that great. Fenrir is also watching the top lane, Sylar. He's still fighting without a bear. This is his massive problem right now. 50 seconds until he can have the potential and tangle back up again. So Fenrir has to sit here and basically babysit Sylar, so Sylar doesn't fall behind in the farm. This is the most important thing for him right now.
If this was a boxing fight, I feel like it's Newbee that's really cowering. They took a really big right hook. Look at Moo on the mid lane. He has a bracer and out. He's simply afraid. Hook's gonna come in right now. The Hog's gonna be ready. Moo's gonna go for the stun, but I'm not sure if he can make it out there. The tower is helping out. The tower actually gets shifted, and now the split's gonna come out. Moo's gonna try to run away from the rest of his team. He's gonna go down as a result. That bracer did not save him. You do not get bracers on Alchemist simply because you don't really need it in normal games. It seems like he's just really afraid of the rotation of VICI, and rightfully so, because they are 8-2.
What also really hurt him was the fact that Banana, he could only get one person on that impale, and because of that, we still saw RTK really move around. Another rotation from VICI Gaming, and RTK coming from the angle, which you'd be least expecting. He literally just hooked in from like the ancient area on the top lane for a hero who's been on the bottom lane the entire time. Now how? He got entangled up, and that may be enough time holding him there. If they get another entangle here, he's going to invest out already. He's maybe regretting that one right now. He's already used his rage, but no TP coming off the back of it. He's still got 4 one-charger super. Well, he's looking for some kind of extra crit. Diving under here, he's got haste through available, so Open Wound's not going to stop him here. Clamp 1 second away, and that'll be the kill for the Clamp. How's out of range, and now Super, he's in too deep. The creep wave is blocking me in the corner. He's trying to find a way out, but no amount of movement speed is going to save him from that. Can't hide inside the tree line. Xiao Wei again TPing in to help out for another kill to try and get Newbee back in advantage of this game.
Great bait from Hao and great rotation. They got a lot out of that fight. Experience is going to be the key, but speaking of experience, look at the bottom lane. FY hits level 6, and that means your towers are going to go down if it's Newbee. So I imagine FY is either going to just push bottom straight up, or he's going to go for a gank on another lane and then push afterwards. Massive rewards is going to be the name of this entire series. Look towards Shadow Shaman doing a lot of work for both teams. He might be in a little bit of trouble right now, though.
So yeah, Sunshine's coming over, and there's TP coming in from Hal. They want to get him out. TP. Well, they don't have a stun. There's no stuns.
Great TP.
It's actually a major problem here for the Newbee lineup. Like on the third pick, they went for the line and thought, okay, we need stuns, we need hexes, we need something along this line because none of our other heroes really offer this. And until you get like Abyssal Blade over on Hal, or something like either Scythe, which actually we're not getting out from Xiao Wei, he's going Fate's Boots into the Necro Book build instead.
So I mean, you have the Lion, and then you also have the Alchemist. They offer some early game stun, but unfortunately neither of them were there. Normally, you don't see those early games TP too often because a support hero like FY will just die instantaneously, but he just reacted very quickly, and that's why he made it out there. So great play from FY. And, you know, as Matt said on the analyst booth, one of the best support players in the world, if not the best.
I love watching him play, man. And now VICI Gaming, they push themselves up towards the top lane. So Smoke Movement came out from both FY as well as RTK, but with no one up here, they just force the tower. Sylar's already got that high-level bear, so Demolish is up on the bear, and they just melt through the towers. While the bottom lane, Xiao Wei and Hal, they're both looking for the trade-off. So a tier 1 for a tier 1 tower trade. VICI Gaming will be happy with this. They obviously won't be ecstatic, but actually, are they going to come back to try and defend this? RTK is moving into a position for a hook shot, but Hal's still here. He's hanging around a little bit longer, but he's out of range of the hook shot, so he's okay for now.
Looks like both teams have successfully defended a tower. I think actually VICI Gaming wants to trade, and they will want to keep trading until that Lone Druid hits up to 3,800 gold, and we haven't really looked at his gold count. 2,200 right now. Once Radiance comes online, can you imagine the squishy supports on Newbee side just getting run down by that Radiance Bear? Ancient Apparition as well as
Dire's bottom tower.
What do they actually do when a Raging Bear charges at you?
Do you still actually want to go for the Radiance Bear? Considering, like, okay, Lone Druid's still meant to be there to control up the Life Stealer. If you go for Radiance, this is going to put you back on your Basher, it's going to put you back on your extra control abilities in that Life Stealer.
I think the fact that you could get it so early is a key, because if he wants Hanamidas, he already has a gold and could have bought it for now. And if he wants Maelstrom, he also could buy the parts, so the fact that he's not buying anything, I imagine it's going to be a Radiance. And it's one of those items, the earlier you pick it up, the more effective it will be, and this is a great Radiance timing coming up from Silent.
Super's looking for an opening with this fresh Blink Dagger of his. He's looking at Hal on the bottom lane, and with support from ROTK, they could have possibly got a kill, but there's an Observe Ward on this bottom lane that's really working overtime. This guy right here has watched so many rotations from VICI Gaming that, well, they just keep getting sprung, and Newbee just back themselves up and they fight in what's the safest place they possibly can. And for Hal, that's right under his tier 1 tower.
They are avoiding fights thanks to those wards, but it's a decent goalie for VICI Gaming right now because they have the Shadow Shaman and the Roshan advantage. They could easily sneak into the pit whenever they want and then just steal it. So I feel like VICI still has the better position in this game.
Move, be careful how long you hang around here. ROTK's moving up. We've even got Couriers delivering in the blaze of attack with a haste rune. Mu is actually outrunning his own chesty Courier. But they'll look towards mid lane now. FY, we still haven't seen these mass Serpent Wards being committed. For the nice fast level 6 that he got, FY has still been very, very cautious about using these mass Serpent Wards.
I see it as anytime you save it, you could guarantee another tower afterwards, or maybe even Roshan in this early stage game. It looks like he'll drop it right now for the mid lane, but hard to actually push this one here, because here comes everybody of Newbee, and those wards are just going to get farmed up.
Henry, he's looking for the fissure right now. Mu getting shocked up. Mass 7 wards actually, yeah, most of them are already gone. Alchemist just walked up, tanked it up, and
Radiant's top tower is
That's
under
generally why you
attack.
don't drop those Master Reward unless you really have forced the enemy heroes back. It was a really good asset trade, just really made it difficult for VICI Gaming to commit.
Dyer's bottom
Anytime
tower
that
is
Super
under
wants to
attack.
jump in, he can't. He really
Radiant's
can't.
top
Blink
tower
Dagger
is
clap
under
into a
attack.
split. There's really no good answer from Newbee right now, apart from a good quick hex coming out from Lion. I'm surprised to see that VICI Gaming wasn't as aggressive as they've been so far in this game.
Now, VICI Gaming are coming off worse for the trade. Even Zhao Wei's being a real nunuisance. He's got this one
Dyer's
little
bottom
Treant
tower is
taking the
under
creep
attack.
wave on a bit of a tourist trip down through the middle lane. And this is allowing the tier 2 tower in the bottom lane to take a lot of damage. Now, top lane VICI Gaming are looking for some kind of counter initiation. So we've got smoke movement from ROTK as well as Fenrir again. But again, also, Newbee not too far out of position. How is? And there goes Shabija. Follow up Hex, Shackles as well. ROTK going to go for the batteries off. They're trying to keep himself up and long. Now, well, he does have rage, but okay. Shadow Shaman will finish the job right there. Fenrir did commit Echo Slam as well.
I'm very surprised that he decided to fight that. He could have infested an enemy creep and just stood there and waited for the creep to come close his tower.
Radiant's top
Instead, he
tower
decided to
has
rage
fallen.
and open wounds and fight, and you can't fight everything there. So perhaps a misplay coming up from Hal, and that's a key misplay because not only has he died as a carry, he also has lost a tier 1 tower. And speaking of that, the momentum is going towards VICI Gaming. Look at the gold on Lone Druid. He's sitting at 3,700, just a little bit more to that relic.
And then you're right, then the supports will be having a little more another fissure. That just sets up perfectly. That range on the fissure is just the perfect initiator without having to put your supports at risk. You think
Radiant's top tower
Earthshaker,
is
he's like
under
he's a
attack.
melee hero. Maybe he's not that great for harassing people out of lanes or setting up for things because he's not a range guy. But really, with that fissure, you can set anything up.
Yeah, it just really feels like newbies aren't able to really execute the game plan. What they really want to do is have a fairly passive laning phase, make sure everybody's decently level and farm, and as the mid-game chaos happens, that's where you have Xiaowei coming in with either a Blink Puck or a Prophet, or Hao really joining a lot of fights. Right now, nobody's really initiating fights. They're losing essentially every single lane. My question for Newbee is, how are they going to start recovering? What items are they going to be?
Does he hook shot? Does he hook shot? No. Xiaowei just TP straight out. Yes, he heads towards the top lane to join Hal up here. Maybe they can add some pressure towards the tier 1 tower. But it was ROTK as well as Super trying
Dyer's
to rotate
middle
themselves
tower
around.
is under attack.
Another thing we also haven't seen is like Hao and Xiaowei, they're on the same lane right now, but we actually haven't seen them combo either. Like Infest inside Nature's Prophet is a
Mid lane, it's going to be a hook coming in. Blue's going to get shackled up into the con with 3 heroes hitting him, and he's straight up dead. Although the heals of Roseman not going to be enough.
No. That's still only a level 1. It's not enough for him to really do much there. And VICI Gaming can now top lane,
Dyer's
middle lane going
structures
super,
are fortified.
up and towards the high ground. His blink is
Dyer's
still on
top
cooldown,
tower
and Banana
is
very
under
quick in the
attack.
hex.
Yeah, the disparity
Radiant's
between the levels of
middle
support is
tower
just
is under
huge
attack.
right now. Level A supports on VICI Gaming and level 5 supports on the side of Newbee. They need level 6s such that they can actually assist the team with burst. They really need burst damage. Great team becoming a bit more as well.
Hal, slightly suicidal, shackles, visions, hexes, and And now the stun, Tau goes down. Lifesteal unable to survive. Brewmaster already split off and he's going to move forward. The stun will go over on Banana. Maybe send something out the doors in the air. They can actually turn one into two and potentially three. Another TP on the way into the Alchemist. Instantly pushed back. Echo Slam. Vision going down. They're going to lose Alchemist. They're going to lose Dungeon as well. Super, the clap. There it is. Actually rolls him down. Triple kill for Super. And Newbee bringing the supports one by one and turning this game with Dota 2 into Duck Hunt.
The scary thing is FY still has massive reward. If they want to come in for a tier 3 push right now, they can. Looks like they're going to go back and secure the safe Roshan.
They had the full Radiance after that fight, man. They do not want to take any other risk. You take Roshan, you look to your outer towers, and you don't give Newbee any advantage to come back in this. This is the grand final with $5 million for first place. You take no risks if you don't have to.
Also look over to go to FY. He's sitting at 2,700. He could go blink if he wants. I actually think an Action Scepter would be excellent in this game. You just want tanky, you just want to put down bigger and more awesome wards, and I think he's going to go for that.
At the same time, I believe that you can also understand that with ROTK jumping in like he is with his hook shot, you need abilities to keep up with him.
So I think having another way to jump in and shut down that Life Slur is going to be excellent. But looks like we're going to see a game on top. There's going to be a TP bomb coming in. There's the goal straight up there. And that's what you need to keep on doing. Get these pick off. It's going to come in a very expensive trade of a Roshan, but it wasn't like Newbee's going to defend the Roshan anyway, so might as well do something else. And looks like we are going to see a Blink Dagger coming out at F1.
Yeah, he's got to keep up with it. It's actually kind of funny that Seb was talking about this over on the panel. Is the fact that you have VICI Gaming, who was so good initiating. They know how to play up against Nature's Prophet. When they played that EMS 1 finals, they were using Stormspur as well as the Clockwork in combination, having these long jumps in with just two heroes, and they'd always be there to back up each other. So you jump yourself in, and you always got a teammate right behind you to follow up with a Hex, follow up with a Control, follow up with some burst damage, and that's exactly what you get with the Blink Dagger over on the Shadow Shaman, the range from the Earthshaker. Soon Fenrir will also complete his own fissure, so that's another hero that can go with the Clockwork. Brewmaster's already going with him in the Blink Dagger, and Lone Druid, well, he's got his bear on the front line, so he's kind of always there.
Yeah, I wonder how Newbee's going to defend the push that's going to be coming their way. They have a couple of tools. They have Acid Spray coming out for Mood. That's going to weaken the push. They have things like Wrath Nature as well as Ice Blast. I say that though, look at Shansheng's level.
He's still at level 6.
Where's that level 6?
Not there, man. At least Lions managed to crack level 6, but that's all they've really got. They put everything else they've got into Prophet, Lifestealer, as well as Alchemist, all at level 11. But even then, they're behind the Brewmaster, who's level 13, TPing back towards middle lane Super, trying to force How as well as this little army of weird triggers to stop them from pushing into that tier 1 tower in the mid lane. But in the meantime too, VICI Gaming, they're forcing the bottom lane out. So all tier 1 towers are gone for Newbee, the tier 2 towers go on the middle lane, and VICI Gaming are looking to add a lot more pressure towards this bottom lane. And Moo, Chemical Rage will protect him a little bit from the Radiance right now, but that's all she wrote. He needs the mech up and running.
Well, ROTK's looking for it. Forces the hook.
Radiant's bottom
You fire one, you miss one, but they're going to guarantee themselves a tier 2 tower because it looks like Newbee is not even trying to defend this.
The Sylar just lost his bear. He didn't want to have that happen. The Ice Blast actually connected on him. He was taking too much damage from the tower, so the bear in the end ended up shattering there. We've got the top tier 2 tower being forced. Hal, Fenrir. He's actually getting mana burned at the back line, so just letting off an easy fissure is not as simple as you'd hope. But Lone Druid already took the tier 2 tower in the bottom lane, so Sylar just defends and soaks up the experience and gold.
VICI Gaming completely in control of this game. They're doing whatever they want. They're pushing every tower, they're defending the towers that they care about the most, and their supports are picking up so much farm. I don't know how Newbee's going to make a comeback. How are they going to begin a comeback? I think it has to really come through with those Lifestealer bombs again. Maybe a little bit more high priority targets. You really can't do it against a Lifestealer, or sorry, you can't do it against an Earthshaker anymore. You can't do it against a Shadow Shaman anymore because they could both blink away. So maybe, and obviously that applies to Brewmaster as well, maybe just try to find that Lone Druid and kill him a couple of times.
If they're going to do that, they need better vision than this. And it might also be a note for VICI Gaming to think about having a gem around this time. Because if you're thinking from Newbee, like you're ahead, you could probably have a nice gem carrier which shouldn't be able to die. You've got a lot of strength heroes which are very, very fat to do such a thing. But the main thing is just making sure VICI Gaming, Newbee doesn't see you moving across the map, so you can't have a good position Lifestealer bottom. You have to guess where you're going. If you're guessing where you're TPing with Nature's Prophet, that's when things go horribly, horribly wrong.
Yeah, it's also the fact that you could, for example, see the Lone Druid up top and maybe just teleport there, but you don't know where the lane is. You don't want to teleport in and suddenly either a big dunk from the Earthshaker, so having the vision is necessary, but
he's coming high ground.
The support just don't have the gold, and well, scratch that. How do you defend your high ground now? Master Board committed.
and the bear is just long way.
Man, that man's going to come on the back of his attacking 9 times. Now he comes RTK. The Cogs going to split up Newbee, and the Brewmaster split's already gone. They hold no in position, and they're trying to focus down how. He's looking for an armor toggle, and the Infest inside the Archimist. They send him up, he's going to bring him back down again to try and buy time for RTK. Now How jumps out. He's just getting stuck outside too. He's slow level like Brewmaster. He's able to pick up the kill, finger of death. Return kill into ROTK. The tower is still not down yet, but the Max Surfboards haven't even really been touched. The stun into Super. Sylar. He's very from Fitch. John Vanry. He's right on top of Xiao Wei. Finishes the job. The tier 3 tower is down as well for Banana. Double kill the Necro unit. He's actually body blocking up Sylar a little bit, keeping him inside the answer spray. It was not to get the kill. Now F1 blinks in with Super. Very quick execution to kill off Lion. And Banana.
Agent's gonna be removed. He still has Shack alive. The bear is still alive. That's critical. Who's gonna stun himself? No, he throws out Super. He's gonna be fine. The Radiance is burning him down. They held us in on 2 as well. But this bear is just running rampage in the Radiance base. They cannot hold the bear back. The Mech's gonna fly off. Who? Wow, he's dead.
Yeah, and Sunshane's probably going to follow in a moment already. He has to make himself out. How very aggressive TP. Sylar trying to get out and successfully does so. There were no stuns left. VICI Gaming, they're able to pick up a couple more kills. Their lone druid killing off Lion again. And also the buybacks coming out during that engagement. You managed to actually force one out from both Xiao Wei as well as one out from the Lion. This is not what Banana wanted to have to do as a support hero. On the bright side for Newbee, it was only the melee racks that was being attacked. So this is going to regenerate. So technically all the damage which VICI Gaming did just then, it's gonna, well, it's only gonna take a couple of minutes before it regenerates back up again, but it's gonna be almost useless, like it never happened.
Yeah, the building damage, it's gonna regen. I see that point, but it's more that the economic damage is really a huge goal swing. If you look at the goal graph, we're seeing a 12,000 goal lead. Yeah. More importantly, that goal lead has transitioned into some huge item pickup. For example, the Spirit Beard just picked up the Assault Cuirass. That's gonna give armor to the team and remove the armor from the building. Vlad's doing essentially the same, more armor buff to VICI Gaming. And I think all the damage essentially is coming out from the Lifestealer right now and those 2 Necro books. And they don't do well when the enemy have a ton of armor. I see the next push being a lot more lopsided than the successful defense, sort of, for Newbee just now.
Well, it looks like the push is coming right now. Super's on his way with a DD rune inside the bottle and an Aghanim Scepter freshly on that Brewmaster. So he's also got, like, it's a level 2 Aghanim split. ROTK, he's got a lot of life points with that Mech Force Staff as well as Point Booster.
He also has double damage.
Yep. That's gonna...
By the way, Earthshaker missed an Echo Slam in that last fight because he ran into the Acid Spray and then, you know, the dagger got cancelled. Finner is not going to make that mistake.
Looking for the stun on RTK. Look how far out he's coming. He's so far out. The Hex from Hydro from FY. Maxim also here. And Stitcher blocking now in with the Cox as well. This is not where he wants to be, especially RTK. He can't get out of here. Someone falls up this man out. 6 seconds to left the cooldown. There goes your stun. Next out to be used. And now it does. Massive ones are there. We'll watch the Infest go out from the Lion Killer. He's protected inside the diagram. Now he pops back out again, but it's urgent for the ancient apparition. And RTK chasing down Banana. The blink out from FY, able to finish off the escaping Lion.
Huge play though coming out from Newbee. They force out the Master Ward outside their base. It's smart to take a fight outside because the Master Ward isn't shooting a building, but smart play is one thing, but the raw power of VICI Gaming just the blink initiation. Wow, he's gonna be dead. Roasted down here by VICI Gaming. The Shackle's gonna come through. He's gonna come again and the Trace flies forward as a support Shadow Shaman. GG! Who's gonna stop the bear? Nobody will! GG comes out for VICI. And they take game 1.
That was perfect from VICI. They realized just how far they could push it. Massive movement down here. That bear was so powerful with Radius Forces of Kuros working their way through the Raxus was going to be so easy for them. And they just kept finding heroes and they kept finding entangles as well. Moon trying to be really aggressive, going back in with a concoction stun, but he got entangled up, locked in position, and all of a sudden they're just losing hero after hero after hero after hero. And it was like Newbee weren't actually fighting as 5. They're fighting as basically 2s, then 1s, then 2s.
I think the game was easily decided by the 2 rotation that FY made. He got himself quick level 6, also won the lane